Let's start. Three, two, one. Welcome back to This Week with my podcast and your favorite host. Uh, let's get sincere with your favorite host, Amir. We're gonna start this. It's the fourth session of my podcast from my Cas Project, and I'm here with Alessandre.
Yo, what up?
Okay, thank you, Alessandre. And then we're with Jorgito. Can you say
Was
hi?
here last week. Hello.
Okay. We also got your favorite dude, Nico.
What's up? What's up?
We are also joined by Mo.
Hi, guys.
I want to say hi to the YouTube community.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Mo. Now we are also joined by Kiana and Kimia. Kimia, can you say hi?
Hi.
Uh,
Hi, guys.
Thank you, Kiana. Okay. Without further ado, let's start. So today's podcast is going to be about the topic, the corona pandemic, obviously. What happened, how it's going on, and how people have kind of coped with the whole situation. Obviously we chose this topic because it's a global issue right now. It's a global pandemic. And without further ado, we can start.
Oh, really?
So, okay, yeah, let's start with this. In case you didn't know, Jorge is from this island where they don't currently have corona because the island doesn't
And they
even exist on the map.
Believe it or not,
We do have corona.
Damn, he's from New Zealand. I didn't know that.
Oh, shit.
they still
We
walk
do
around
have
with
corona in the Canary Islands.
Oh,
We have less
oh.
cases than
See,
the rest.
See, if you guys had internet, I would know that. Anyways, moving on. We're gonna start with the
Bro, that's
pandemic.
messed up.
Hey, it's all jokes. We're all friends here. We're just gonna discuss this topic. No hostility, obviously. We're just
Of course.
giving our opinions. To begin with, okay. There are different theories on how the coronavirus started. Some say that
China.
it's obviously it did originate from China. That's
Let
that's
them
No,
man
I'm
speak.
saying China
Let the
created
man
the
speak.
virus.
Let the man speak.
It did originate
Why?
from China. There are different stories to how it actually originated. Some say it was a biological virus. Some say that it
Exactly.
was actually attained from eating what is known to be
a
A
bat.
bat.
Fisher virus.
a bat. Exactly.
What some may call a
Bullshit.
bat.
I'm sorry. I for a second I almost forgot the word. I'll be honest. I almost forgot the word.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A flying rat. I don't know, whatever you
Yeah,
want to say,
I
flying
know.
mouse.
That's on me. Yeah. What do you guys think?
I think
What do you
it's a
guys think?
conspiracy so that the government could recharge the pigeons because they're all actually security drones. Prove me wrong.
I think
Have you
it's a-
seen a pigeon at all during
I
the
think-
whole quarantine? I haven't seen a single one.
Have you seen baby
I haven't seen
pigeons ever in your
haven't
life?
seen a pigeon since March of last year.
Oh, Jorge, that's true.
Have
Baby
you ever
pigeon?
seen a baby pigeon? Yeah.
Never,
No,
not
right?
once in my life. Have you ever seen a
Same,
pigeon nest?
same.
I've never seen a pigeon nest.
Yo, I
the
love this combo about a baby pigeon. But okay,
No, we're
okay.
kidding.
Before we actually talk about those other irrelevant topics, let's actually talk about how do we think the coronavirus originated.
Bro, are you seriously
Biological.
just gonna ignore my hypothesis? I thought you said we're gonna do without hostility,
That's what the
no
liberals do to you.
discrimination.
Nico, that's how
Just
the
gonna
liberals do to you. They just ignore
Bro,
our theory.
I'm not talking about Scientology here. All right, this could be actually true. All right, this could actually
No, 1%.
have the dude. What 1%? What do you mean?
What the
1%.
Oh,
It's a
oh,
biological.
actually,
it's a
I just want the
biological.
percentage of
I
what?
just. It's funny. I just
We
saw this
just-
text.
we
It
just-
says, "Why are we talking about
You are
pigeons?"
you are saying
Kimia just asked
biological
that
virus
question.
and
Kimia,
what you
why
mean
do you
is
think we're talking
artificial
about
virus,
pigeons
we
right
just
now?
we just learned probabilities. You should know better.
Absolutely, probability it
Bro,
is. But
Mo, what? I think since the last podcast, Mo decided to start taking up some drugs because what he's saying don't make any sense. He started.
guys, come on. Let's
That was
not
last
get off
week. I don't
topic.
remember. That was last
Guys,
week. I
for
don't
real,
remember.
for real.
Yeah, last
Come on,
week's
come on.
topic. Yeah.
Let's not get
It's
off
a
topic.
callback.
We are talking about the coronavirus today. and the whole
Yeah,
situation
we're
that's
talking about
ongoing.
our ideas of how it originated, what we believe in.
Exactly, but my
Yeah.
question was,
And people are just,
do you
ignoring
think
my idea. They're just
it was a
throwing it in my
biological
face.
virus, or did it actually
You mean
originate
like a biological
from?
weapon, like someone
Can we
created it?
take votes? Can we
Yeah,
take
a
votes?
biological weapon, obviously,
Okay.
but
Bro, why you stop saying obviously, bro. All right,
I would.
anybody think it's a biological weapon that
I
what the
believe it's
government created,
man-made. It's
China
a
created?
weapon too. I mean, just saying.
Okay, Kiana thinks it's man-made. I actually agree with Kiana
Okay.
because I
Who
also think
made
it's
it though? Which
man-made.
country?
Okay, hold on,
I
hold on,
think
hold on.
China
I
made it.
Listen,
made it.
It would be
listen. We're not
artificial.
China
pointing
made
any
it.
Hold up,
fingers
hold
at
up.
anywhere.
All
Kiana
China's
thinks
fault.
so. Let's let Kiana talk about why she thinks so before we all start giving in our 2 cents.
Nico the gentleman.
Okay, so at first I was like, it could be, it could not be, like, because of the news and everything. But then two things happened that made me like be a little bit like more sure about it, I guess. So first of all, I don't know if you heard it or not. So like few months after the pandemic started, there was a scientist in Russia who was basically like doing a research on this whole corona thing, and like he announced that he is doing research or something like that. And then this guy who was Chinese, or I think he killed this person, this scientist, and
Okay.
in the like just like
Yeah.
immediately he killed himself too.
Oh
You
wow.
know, that's weird.
Oh,
That's suspicious. So
that's
yeah,
as what we would say real
and
sus.
That's
Mm-hmm.
sus. Yeah, sus.
Yeah, so it's suspicious. Okay, I have another theory why it could be a biological weapon, and that is okay. So in a lot of like the more developed, I say that in air quotes because developed, not developed, who decides that, but whatever. In a lot of these areas, the if you look at like the population pyramids, the amount of the population that's old and is going to retire soon keeps on growing, right? So like countries like Japan, stuff like that have like a really like it's a problem because the people that support the elderly is the working class, right? The working force. But as the working force diminishes, there's less money from taxes to go into like old folks' homes and stuff like that to actually take care of these people. And
yeah,
since they only like take money in terms of like from the government, they don't give anything back because they don't work, they have no income. At some point, like they need to change it around, right? They need to get back to the stage where the largest part of the population is working force, because that's where you'll have like the most economic development and stuff like that, because like, you have the most people working on stuff, working, paying taxes, and actually furthering any type of development, right? And so with this virus, most of the people that have died are elderly people or people that have some kind of like condition with their immune system or just a weaker immune system or something like that. So since this takes out mostly elderly people, like I think among like people that are like teenage and stuff, like almost 99% or something like that survive.
Mm-hmm.
It could be something like that. It could be method to get rid of some of the elderly people and to create a larger working force. You know, I think that's pretty viable. Because as the
That is.
populations get older, what are we gonna do? It doesn't actually work in the way that our societies are built up.
yeah. Also, another aspect can be that like if let's say like this thing happened, it made so many businesses collapse, like big businesses. Like I don't know, for example, let's say if you know the brand Debenhams, like they went bankrupt, and so many big businesses. So like basically if they would like collapse, their share, like they would be worth less. And if you think like China can basically buy their shares or stuff, and how like
Oh
after this
wow.
pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
how strong their economy will be.
Oh,
Oh, and
I
another
hadn't looked
reason
at it
that
like
made
that.
me actually be really more suspicious was that just when England announced that they have found the cure, like I'm sorry, not the cure, but the vaccine, they
A
like
new strand came
only
out.
in a
Yeah,
matter
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
few days, another form of this virus came out. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
doesn't don't I'm not saying that I don't agree, but don't like many other forms have been coming out the past
Well, I
months,
mean, yeah, but it depends since
and they
No,
it's a
it
and they
depends
virus,
already
on.
so it
expected it
it,
to
it
happen
mutates.
Then
But the
really
difference
fast.
is if it has like a big difference. Like apparently I think COVID-20 they're calling it. COVID-20 is more infectious, right? So it's not
yeah, 70%
deadlier or more lethal, but it's
infectious.
more infectious. So like
Yeah.
if it like there's a whole bunch of mutations, but some don't actually change like the virality or whatever you want to call it, like how dangerous it is. Some might make it less dangerous or whatever. So as long as those mutations aren't widespread, it doesn't make a difference. But if they are widespread, then you get a new
Yeah, I know,
strain
I know, I
brand
know, I know
of
biology.
yeah. Of course, I'm just
I mean,
saying as like a general thing. I'm
No,
not saying
Nico's
nobody
just saying it
doesn't
for
know
the
that.
people who are not aware, obviously.
Yeah, it's just
Uh,
just for the sake of discussion.
I'm
mhm.
sorry, Nico.
Yeah,
I know my man
obviously.
Jorge is on top of
What
this
what?
stuff.
Yeah, that is something he is on top of. Anyways, we're gonna get past that. Obviously, we're talking about we all, most of us at least, agreed that it is a biological virus
Well, we're
because
saying there's a possibility. There is a
obviously
possibility.
I'm
we
saying it's
can't
a
prove it.
possibility. I don't know
Yeah,
if it is.
we
You know,
agree with the
We should
possibility
say
though.
who created it. Who created it
Listen,
though?
no one knows who created it because it could
But we
be
can
a
still
No,
assume.
no, we
yeah, but
can't point any
we
But
can
fingers.
I also
hypothesize.
think there's a
Yeah,
big
that's what we're doing with the
possibility that
biological
it
weapon.
might have
Yeah,
been
Nico, who do you think created it?
a random thing. Not a random thing, but just
See,
Hmm?
something that they
what I
you know.
think
I think it
about
could
what
be. I
Mo is
think it
saying.
could be both of them.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it could be. What I'm saying is, it could be made by the government, or
Which
it could be
government?
doing of a person on its own.
Which person?
Any
Okay, so
random person.
to me,
Who,
it
bro?
could
You gotta
be
say.
Listen,
no, like no,
I
okay,
can't, out
okay,
of like
You
look,
can't. You
seven
have to
doesn't
say
billion
really
like
people
which
matter.
on this
government.
planet, I can't
You
say
have to
who
say
it
which
is.
superpower. You
Okay,
have to
look, it
say
doesn't
which
really
government.
matter which
It
government made
does.
it because it could be any
That's the whole
government
thing.
from any developed country, from any country that is
Oh wait,
facing
before you
a
go on, I just want to
problem
make a
of
And
small
you are
of
already
clarification.
an
assuming.
Wait,
aging
wait,
population,
Nico. I'm sorry. Wait, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Just saying, by biological virus, this is like a small clarification. I mean, like biological weapons. Obviously,
Yeah, we really yeah, we know.
yeah, I know.
Yes.
Just making a small
We mentioned
clarification.
that.
Just
We mentioned
Go on.
clarify.
Okay. Go on.
Yeah, I'm
See,
saying
see, you
it could
gotta.
be any government from any country that is
No,
facing the problem of an aging population. There's like I don't know anything that would tell me that oh it's the American government, oh it's the Chinese government. I have no reason to suspect that. I mean they said it came out of Wuhan, which would
Mm-hmm.
lead you to suspect that it could be the Chinese government. But then again, it could be some other government that planted it there in case there is some kind of callback and people find out that it's not just a natural occurring virus, but it is, a
I mean you
biological
can
weapon
find out.
that they
You
don't
can.
that they don't go for that country, that it doesn't come back at them and like people, I don't know,
I mean
do
at the
whatever they
end of.
want to do and like, start a war or whatever. It could have, some kind of sanctions, could have some kind of repercussions on that country that they
Mm-hmm.
don't want. And
Yeah.
so, you could just have it occur somewhere else, but not actually have, not in your country, but make its way to your country, so you still reap the
Mm-hmm.
benefits in quotation marks, of your weapon that you created, but there's
I
no way to
mean,
trace it back to you creating it, you know?
yeah, but you
Yeah, I don't
can't
think
see.
I don't
This is
think
the thing.
it really matters who created it, man. I
Yeah,
think it's
that's
not
what I'm saying.
relevant. It affected
Also,
globally, so it doesn't really matter.
Chinese
Yeah,
government
it
kept
affected globally, but the advantages
well.
didn't affect globally. Like
Well,
Well,
at the
yeah,
end
again,
of
like
the
Well, yes,
it
they
pandemic,
affected
did.
you
globally,
gotta
but
see.
how did China like get like everyone is cured now and like it's not continuing
Everyone.
even though like everyone did this like social distancing and everything and mask and stuff, but how are like Chinese people making like festivals and nothing is happening, like not even
Wait.
like
We're
10
gonna get to
cases.
the
No,
whole
but
No, we're
that's
getting
because they were
precautions.
I'm
already
trying.
used
Step
to
All,
step.
all
automatically.
of
all
This
those
is
I'm
not
let him
something.
let him
saying
hear,
is
let
that
him hear,
things,
let him hear.
so it was
we
We are
easier
gonna
for
are
get
them.
to
we
the.
won't we will not ever know who made this, even actually even if it was
We will.
actually
We will.
like weapon
No.
or not. No,
Listen,
we will
Okay.
not. Because
a
even
crime
if
is
government
obviously
understand, they will never tell people.
that's true. A
But
government
we
is
can
obviously
assume. We can
going to.
assume.
We can
Yeah,
Let
but
me
obviously
there
say
could be a
assume.
how we can
whistleblower or
assume.
We can
something.
try to
There are
point
ways to
fingers.
find out.
What does
But
it help you to assume something?
yeah,
Just
Could
let's
no,
you
it
get to
let's
understand
investigate.
more of the world that you're living in, so you're not just like unconscious about the things that are happening around you,
No,
and
but
how you can
if
no,
you
but it's not
assume.
assume,
about.
if you start assuming stuff without knowing if it's true, that's worse
No,
for
that's
you
what I'm
because
saying.
it might
You know what
not be
they
You
true.
say? Yo, you
scientifically
know what they
assume, so
say?
you give reason. Let me see how you
When
can
you
do it.
assume,
And-
you make an ass out of you and me, man. That's what they say,
Yeah,
and
no.
it's
Let
true.
me
It's in the word, man.
it's
That's
true.
what assume means. Making an ass
say.
out of you
Okay,
and me.
see?
But we're
No.
saying in this
You
case, like Mo, we understand what you mean, but in this case, we're saying that it doesn't make a difference who created it because
Mm-hmm.
either way, the effect is the same. That's why we're saying,
it's
like, we're
the
saying
effect is
that,
not the
that
same though.
it is the same because no matter
It's
who
not.
created it, it still affected everybody, you know? So even if
But
New
that's
Zealand
on the
created
virus
it,
wise.
it
If
still
we, if we
affected
talk
everybody.
about
It just
economic
might
wise,
like
it did
affect
not
like
affect
what the
everyone.
goal was, you know?
Economy wise,
Listen,
it affected
this
everybody.
virus is something global. It is affecting
You
everyone
dead.
on a large
You
scale.
dead.
It
You
But
dead.
it
Let me
did
just.
not
You
affect
dead.
everyone in the same economic way that it did, like, for
No, but
Exactly.
listen,
example,
why
we're
do you
not
China.
have to
talking
assume they
about
did
it.
it? Maybe they were just maybe it was an accident the way
Listen, we are not talking
they
about
Yeah,
it
made the
in
obviously,
virus
terms
an
maybe
of.
it was
accident
an
or something, you
accident,
know?
but I'm
So let's
saying it
stop
was
assuming
also.
things and just go. Let's just keep going.
Okay, let's. Okay, I don't like the way this is going. Let's start doing something. We respect one another here. We talk by turns. I agree that this could be affecting like countries on a different scale in terms of economy, because obviously countries have different scales of economy. That is an obvious thing. What my question was, do you think it's man-made or is it natural? And you guys came to the fact that it supposedly allegedly is man-made, given that it um, affects people on an older range
Well,
and
No.
again, we're saying like it could
All
be,
diseases
but
will
we don't
affect
know
people
because
on
like
an older range.
none of
No,
that's
us have
true.
like
I'm just
But
saying it could be
this
both of
one,
them. I'm not.
yeah, this one is on a greater scale right now. It happens to affect older people more. And that's the end of it. Like we're not trying to point fingers at anybody. We're just saying what supposedly could or could not be. Anyways,
Yeah, like
we can move on from
I
this.
understand what Mo wants to do. It's just that, like we don't have any information like really. I feel like to go off of
No, but let me say, let
Yeah.
me conclude
Hold on, one sec.
Mhm.
And like the consensus that are kind of around here is that like we don't really see what you stand to gain from like pointing a finger at somebody if we have nothing to back it up. Like of
Mhm.
course it would make a difference if we actually knew who
Mhm.
created it and if it was created man-made. But since we have nothing to go off of, and I kind of said like even though it came out in China, we don't know if that doesn't mean that it was the Chinese government. We don't really have anything to point it off, to
no.
base it off of.
Okay,
And
okay.
so because of that, anything we say, as far as I know, unless you know something else, in terms of where it originated and who created it, is just pure speculation. Not even
Exactly.
not even an
Because it's not
assumption
supported by
or a
evidence.
guess.
Exactly.
It's just out of the blue because you
Mhm.
think it might be them,
Okay, but
and
let me
we feel like
conclude
it
my
doesn't really make
assumption.
a difference. But what? Yeah, yeah. I
Listen,
want
you
to hear
could
like why you
argue
think.
and say it was by the Chinese people. You could argue that because you could back it up by saying that they got rid of it so quickly and look at the numbers not going up. Like the city went into a full lockdown in 2 weeks. Everything went on lockdown. Everyone stopped going to school. Everything stopped.
Hmm.
They had full control of it. You could supposedly argue that, but that just talks
But that
about how
could
strong
also
the
be
government.
misinformation. You could
No,
argue a
no,
lot
no,
of
no.
things.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay,
It could
can I
be
there's
just
anything.
can I just say my
so
last
many
opinion on this? Can I just say my
Yeah,
obvious
last
go ahead.
opinion
Go
flaws
on
ahead.
that
this?
you can point out.
Okay,
But yeah,
so
Yeah.
okay, so the thing is, what I'm trying to say to find out who created the virus, how to find out who created the virus is about when the pandemic ends, we have to check which country got the most advantages from the virus, which country gained the most from the virus, and then you could assume which country created it.
No,
But
then
it's not
why are you
definitive.
assuming
That's
it's
not
only
definitive.
one country who created it? Maybe it was a a
can't
global
always
thing. All of
let
you know, you
know.
could assume a lot of stuff, so it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter at the end of
Also,
the day.
that's like Jorge was saying earlier. That's assuming that all the information you get is truthful. You know, that's
Mm-hmm.
assuming that in China the numbers are what they say they are, and not something
Mm-hmm.
else. That's assuming that in America the numbers are what they say they are, and not something else.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And based on the whole like situation, especially in China and America, it would be wise not to think to assume that the numbers reported aren't correct, you know, because
I
they're
mean, obviously,
trying to.
we've been taking TOK for 2 years now, and nothing is for certain, you know.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That kind of contradicts what you just argued here, because you're saying everything that is given to us could be a possible, not a possible, but it's correct. Like because that's what you just
Yeah,
said.
but still,
But
if nothing is for certain, we can still like make assumptions.
we
Doesn't
can
mean
make
that
we
we
can't make
But we're saying
don't think.
assumptions. We can make
saying
speculations. Like we can see the points and we can connect them together, but we don't have evidence to back them up. Anyways, we can kind of get past this because we're kind of getting off topic. We could start talking about the virus is there. It's affecting people on a large scale. There has been a lot of deaths from corona globally. We can start talking about what the steps the governments took to kind of stop this trend from growing. Like, uh, we can start from Italy, how they started with the lockdown, uh, how they stopped schools in China. Yeah, we,
I don't
we could
think.
start
I
talking
mean,
about those.
I think what's really interesting to me is to see people's opinion on whether or not they think flattening a curve is a better idea. Like how if they prefer or think it's a better idea to act preventatively
Mm-hmm.
or to go for something more like herd immunity, you know, kind of like what they did in like
yeah, yeah,
Sweden, to just
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
continue and then like try to get it over with, or to like implement just strict lockdowns like in China, for example, and then get it over with that way versus like kind of like the way that we did it here where it was like on and off, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Okay.
I'm on the side
We
of
can we
flattening the
can.
curve.
Okay. So you agree with flattening the curve, making the
Yeah,
trend
not like
constant.
Sweden, more like New
Okay.
Zealand.
Okay.
Like New Zealand
So,
So going on lockdown.
lockdown.
What?
oh, okay. So Alex
You
here
What
agree with
thinks
did,
that going
wait,
on.
Mo, did you say like New Zealand, you said?
Yeah, yeah. I said not like
What
Sweden and like New Zealand.
what exactly did they do? Because I
I
don't
think I
actually
think
know.
they just did something similar to Germany. Just they were more successful with it. More people, just what is it called? Agreed with the rules and just stayed
Yeah.
at home.
I don't think
I
Germany
think
was a matter
Mo.
of people not accepting it. It's
I
people
know.
disobeying
Actually,
it.
I kind of agree with Mo in this one. I think people is very important in this. I think there are governments that are trusting in people's in people in general more than
Mm-hmm.
other governments. You know, and I
Mm-hmm.
I
don't
think
know which one you should do, but I think it's happening
like
like
to
that.
trust the people. What do you mean?
Yeah, because for example, for example, in here they kind of trust people not to do gatherings of different households, and they are not putting like they are not actually um, very into like looking up people to find to put fines and stuff, you know.
There are
And in
fines though.
Spain, yeah, there are fines. There's the threat is there, but there's no police, and when you go to the street
I mean,
asking you where
there
are you
is
going,
police, but
After
but
midnight, there
there's
is.
not
you have to
asking you.
think
You
that
know
And if
what I
you
mean?
drink outside, there's.
there's a
But
finite
what I
amount of people
okay,
that are in the police force that have to
but what I
patrol
mean is
the whole area of Berlin, so they obviously can't, you know, patrol
no,
everything
yeah,
everywhere. And unlike
no, but
some other cities, they
for
don't have
example.
CCTV posted everywhere in the city, so they can't possibly monitor it that
Yeah,
much.
but no, but I know what you mean. But for example, in Spain they didn't trust them at all, and they said just lockdown, and
Okay.
you cannot go out. And the moment you go out, if you see, you get fined. Like
Okay.
direct. There's no question. Like if you're not, if you couldn't even go to your job if you were not, if your job wasn't like a hospital or like a policeman or something like
Right.
that, you know.
Right. And you think
But I think here they trusted a little bit more people. even in the major lockdown, you could kind of go out and
Mhm.
if you and meet one person in the park and nobody would go to ask you what you were doing.
Listen,
You
I
couldn't
agree
even
with what
go
you're
out. You know, you
saying.
could you could
But,
not take walks.
what I'm
They
interested
are
in,
obviously trusting
would you
people
prefer?
to do the
Would
right
you
thing.
prefer
That's for one.
strict lockdown, or would you prefer the government
No,
putting
no,
trust in you and saying try to follow these guidelines?
yeah, that's the thing I was saying. I don't know which one is better. I don't know.
Okay.
I I I
Okay.
I I, I, I had a better time because my friends from Spain couldn't go like to walks and everything. They were freaking out, and I
Mhm.
could go to have a walk around the park or something, and that was nice, you know. Even though it was myself, that I could like run or something.
Okay.
No, but I'm being serious.
I don't know. I don't know
And
why Amir is laughing, as if this is some kind of joke, as if
and
he
and,
doesn't
and
like your opinion, as if he's kind of
No,
discriminating
it's
against your
like he doesn't like walking.
no,
It's kind of messed
No.
up, man.
That's
and
true. I don't like walking. Anyways.
and
Okay,
then
it's fair. Walks are
and
kind
then
of boring.
people in
IMO.
Spain were actually my friends were actually telling me, "Yo, this is so bad. I'm in my house 24/7. I cannot go out. I cannot take walks. This is like horrible,
But
you
is
know?"
that such
Like
a
they
bad
were
thing?
actually
That's what I think.
Wait.
Like,
yeah.
to me,
So
They said it was a bad thing, but in the moment they did that, numbers did go down, you know.
mhm,
After
Mhm.
now
yeah.
it's really bad again. Now it's really bad again because they
Mhm.
are giving people more trust again. But
exactly.
that's the thing. I don't know which one is better because I don't know. I actually don't know.
Wait, so we
Amir,
got
you
your
want?
opinion. You don't know to decide whether you are for lockdown, but you don't know if you're for a full lockdown or a semi
No,
lockdown.
no. It's not lockdown. It's trust in general. I don't know if government
So
should trust people as
he's for
much as they
like
do or
No,
not.
but
restriction.
if you were to choose, let's say you had the choice right now to decide for the country. If you had to choose between putting people in a lockdown or a semi lockdown, what would you choose?
Like, can you repeat the question?
I honestly wouldn't know. Honestly, I wouldn't know.
Repeat the question.
Okay. I would say a lockdown, because like, to me,
But
Hello?
it's
yeah,
not a bad thing. It's not bad. Like, if we look at, okay, you're forced to stay in your house. If we look at
Hello?
like the people in Berlin, the average person in Berlin, what they have in their house, you know, I have my computer. I'm with my brother. I'm with my dad. I can entertain myself in my own house for a long ass time, a
but
long
what
time.
about the people
And
that
I
are
don't.
alone? Like
You
if you
can
think
still
about
talk to
yourself,
people.
okay,
You can call your friends. You can video call your friends. You can Skype with friends. You can do so much social stuff. You just have to actually do it. But to me, when you give people, when you trust them, I'm not saying don't trust them, but I'm saying when you only enact like guidelines or do like on off, because I feel like that's the problem that we had here in Germany specifically, is that they had a lockdown and then numbers went down,
it was
obviously.
kind of
And
semi
then
lockdown
the
here
thing
in
is, then
Germany.
they were like, "Oh, look, numbers are down. Let's loosen the guidelines. Let's loosen the
But
restrictions."
but
And the
but the
problem with
one
that
in
is, then
Well,
when
Germany
well,
it
you
was
to
loosen
kind
be
the
of a
fair,
semi
restrictions,
to be
lockdown.
fair,
hold up.
when they
When you
did
then
decide to
loosen
get
your
rid, okay.
restrictions, the numbers rise again. That's what happened in Spain. Like you said, your friends in
Yeah,
Spain, hard lockdown,
mhm,
hard lockdown. Numbers fell,
yeah.
but then they loosened it. Numbers are up again, and now it's bad. It's a bad situation there again. In Italy as well.
Mhm.
In Italy at the beginning, they didn't have
But
guidelines
if
yet.
it
They
wouldn't
had
be
like
in a
loose
lockdown, it
guidelines.
would be even worse, like even higher numbers, right?
Yeah, but for
Okay, yeah,
example,
but there's
Nicholas,
this
you
thing
said here
called
the semi-lockdown also worked, right? Kind
yeah,
of,
the
because here it was not a
semi-lockdown works.
lockdown.
But the problem is that after this, during like the semi-lockdown works, but then they loosen the guidelines. They loosen the restrictions.
Yeah, yeah, of
Mm-hmm.
course. But then in the
No,
case you say if it worked the same way, I would go for the semi-lockdown for sure, so people can take walks, you know? But
yes,
I don't know.
and I'm like, if I'm not sure if a hard lockdown is more effective, but like what I'm saying is, to me, you have to pick it and stick with it, you know? And one
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
that I
that's true.
really didn't like about the way that like Germany did it was that they didn't act preventatively. They acted like in
Temporary.
response to, you know, they waited so long until they finally closed the schools. You know, we were still in school in March when the numbers were rising rapidly.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's actually true.
Versus other areas where they notice, oh look, we have like 5 cases, which means the virus has reached us, lockdown. Just so that those people don't spread it. And
Mhm.
then once those people don't spread it, you basically don't really have it there. Then the only problem is other people bringing it in from other countries by traveling, you know?
Yeah.
But you don't have
Mhm.
it in your own country, you know?
Yeah.
And so once you can
Okay.
eliminate it like that, then you can loosen it again. But like, you know, it has to be like in response or like with like cooperation with like neighboring countries so that
Mhm.
you don't loosen your restrictions and then they bring it in again, you know?
Okay.
Like that
Okay,
that's
so
that's that's
let
what I
let
didn't
me.
like. That we didn't
Can
act
I add to
preventatively and
that?
then people were like, "Yo, we're in the lockdown, the numbers aren't going down." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, 'cause you know, like we didn't do it soon enough,
Well,
you
we
know?"
can clearly see they did a
Yeah,
shitty job.
exactly.
Uh. Okay. What
Why
were
are
you
you
gonna say,
cussing?
Kimmy?
On that note, IB exams should be cancelled.
They should be canceled. Kimia, what do you think about this? Do you think it should be a
Also, in addition
semi-lockdown,
to
lockdown? What should we do?
the thing is that whatever they're doing, they should stay consistent, because if they don't stay consistent with one method, people are not going to take it serious. Because once people adapt to a full lockdown and the restrictions just go away, they adapt to their normal lifestyle again, and then it's lockdown again. But like sticking to one thing, like making like the majority of people to stick to one thing is just a lot more efficient, and it's going to work more.
Mhm. Yeah,
Also,
I agree.
yeah, something about New Zealand is that it actually, like, geographically, it also has like the advantage of like being like relatively like isolated, and that's why like it's harder for people to travel through the borders. This may not be like 100% the case, but like it is still an advantage for them, because like Europe, like Italy, Germany, like it's pretty easy to travel through the borders, but like New Zealand is more like isolated. That's why I
To
think
be
that is
fair,
also an
New
advantage.
Zealand has done a great job, but it has a fairly low population. The
Yeah,
Exactly.
entire
exactly.
country is
Low population
consistent of
and it's isolated.
4.88 million. So
And
that
it
is a low
has a very
population.
good government too. Like,
Yeah, yeah, you could obviously award that to the government for doing a great job. Anyways, moving on. Besides the
Hold
lockdown,
up,
what are the
moving
other
on.
things we could do?
I
Because
wanted to
maybe
say
let's
one
not
more thing. I
spend
wanted to
like
say one
40
more
minutes
thing.
on just this.
I wanted to say one more thing about the
Okay.
semi-lockdown, and it's
Mm-hmm.
that it's all good as long as people still abide by the rules of the semi-lockdown. Obviously, and I know that's what Jorge meant as well. Like, obviously, if people follow the
Mm-hmm.
rules but have like some kind of freedom. But I feel like one of the problems with that, which might also be a problem in the hard lockdown, but if it's not enforced as much as, you know, like in the semi-lockdown, then like for example, people in our age, we had mentioned it earlier, most of us don't die from it, right? It's not lethal or deadly to
Hmm.
uh the majority of like the population, especially young, healthy people. So when people know that, you'll get scenes like in Florida where they just don't care about the virus and they go on spring break and party, and they might get the virus, but it doesn't really matter because for them it's like a bad cold, a bad flu. You know, it's not deadly
Yeah.
and it's not terrible, so they'll just do whatever and just continue on with their normal lives, chilling, hanging out with friends, whatever. But when you have that, then they will infect others without knowing, because then they go back home, infect their parents and stuff like that, and they won't be fined or anything like that because it's a semi-lockdown and they're allowed to be outside, you know. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
might be meeting in groups that they weren't supposed to, but like then the police won't find them. The police will just disband it, you know, which isn't the
Yeah.
same.
Mm-hmm.
So like one of the problems. I also wanted to mention about the herd immunity that Sweden did. I just looked it up, and it depends on how infectious a disease is, but basically the concept is that when like a certain amount of the population gets the virus and you know survives it, they would then be immune
Yeah.
because then their body will have the antibodies for that virus, kind of like the chicken pox. You'll get it once when you're younger, and then you
Yeah.
won't get it again because you have the antibodies. And at some point, it says usually around like from 50 to 90% of the population. That's like the range,
Yeah,
depending on
I
how
heard 70%.
infectious it is. Once, like, let's say 70%, as an example, of the population is immune, it's called hard protection or herd immunity. Basically, nobody else will really get it because the population that's immune will protect the population that isn't immune, if that makes sense. Like, since they're
Yeah.
immune,
Yeah, I mean,
once
majority
they
is
get it,
immune, so that 30% becomes a really low number compared to the people
exactly. And so
that
then, like,
No,
there
aren't
aren't
immune.
there
but
aren't enough
also because there's
people to
no
give
more
it to the
people
people that aren't
infected
immune.
to give it,
Yeah, yeah.
That's
The
what they
potential
call
for
it.
That's
people being
that's another
carriers are way lower. Yeah, I totally get that.
But
yeah, that's another thing. That's
let
like
me
what
say
the
one
kind
thing
of went for.
though. There's a thing going like around with COVID that they say that I don't know if it's true or how much of it is true, but they say that you can get it more than once. Then that
Oh yeah,
having
yeah, yeah,
antibodies
yeah. Because
that
the
don't
virus.
really
Yeah.
make you immune
Mm-hmm.
because there's people that have been sick, not even carrying the
Right,
virus, like
right,
not
right.
even like sick first and then carrying the virus
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that would make
Mm-hmm.
sense, but like sick several times, which I don't know
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it's true or if it applies to all the population or maybe to some people who didn't develop the antibodies correctly or something.
I
It's
think
not
that
just
might have to
about
do with
that.
like some mutations.
Wait, let me add something to that because my sister's in the hospital and she tells me that the COVID has, like, everyone knows this, it has the potential to mutate. So this mutation, like, even though you already got it once, your body is immune to that initial strand, but once it mutates, it shows itself as another type of virus. Like, it still infects your body. And once every time a virus mutates, it becomes worse. So yeah, you do have the potential to get it a second time. This is why the new strand that they just recently discovered in the UK, uh, a serious thing right now because it's a new mutated strand, and it's affecting people on a greater scale.
Mhm.
Anyways, getting past that, like getting past what the governments have done, or the things that have been done or should have been done. Let's talk about the businesses. I mean, some businesses profited, some are faced with great loss right now. Some even went bankrupt. What
Mhm.
businesses do you think profited, and because given that most businesses went bankrupt, what are some of those businesses that actually profited from this era
Well,
or
Amazon,
situation? Hmm?
Amazon.
obviously,
Amazon?
Yeah,
um,
like
So
yeah,
delivery.
okay,
online websites. Is that what you're
delivery,
saying?
but obviously the first one,
Mm-hmm.
pharmaceutics and stuff.
Okay.
Not
Well,
only because
I
of the
mean,
vaccine, but because they
not
started
yet.
selling more.
I mean, like
No, but I
only
think
Also,
only
people
before of it.
working in social media,
yeah.
Oh, so influencers. They.
influencers,
Mm-hmm.
TikTokers, all of that.
Oh, on that note, do you guys think TikTok is better than Vine?
No.
I mean, it's
I'm
I've
just
got no
kidding.
different.
That's
comments.
fully
I
irrelevant.
think TikTok is
Um,
stupid in general.
well,
Same.
yeah,
I
you're bound to your
totally agree
opinion.
with Jorge.
And that
Obviously
doesn't
everyone's
happen a
blind.
lot.
Yeah, those 150 million people who downloaded TikTok don't think that. Anyways, let's get past that.
I mean,
So
TikTok
you're saying
can be good.
influencers, let's say delivery
Pharmaceuticals
websites
and
or
delivery.
online shopping websites and pharmaceuticals, um, profited from this.
Yeah.
Okay, Kimia, you said influencers. How did
Yeah.
influencers kind of, what's it called, profit from
So
this?
I think the majority of people like still like they I think they've gained some kind of more like respect in their area
Mm-hmm.
of like how they're working because people are taking them more seriously because now they have like more space to discuss
other things. They have more space to do their own advertisements, and the audience that is actually willing to put in time to like look at what they're doing, it's like a lot
Mhm.
more.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you are saying that people have more time to look at what they're willing to say or their content in that.
Act- People have more time to waste. They just want to
But
do something, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but
Obviously, given
on
that
that
Be
there's
note,
entertained.
about because some influencers the way they win money, it's like thanks to brands advertising themselves in the influencers profiles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you
Yes.
think
Yeah.
maybe some brands stopped doing that during the lockdown, as they maybe use the money for other things, or maybe they did it more for like advertise during the lockdown so they would win more money? I don't know.
I
I-
Do
mean,
you know what
given
I
that
mean?
it's the lockdown, I think they had more opportunities to do collaborations. If I think that's what you're saying. Am I
That you
wrong or
you
did I
think
understand?
yeah,
What?
I'm saying that, but do you think a brand would waste money, or not waste, or invest money in a
Oh,
collaboration
absolutely.
during
Yeah,
lockdown?
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Of
But
Actually,
why?
definitely.
they would do it more
If
at this
people
point because
can,
from what Kimia said, they will have more audience because people, yeah, they would obviously
yeah,
waste money.
that's true, but maybe you're not. Maybe people wouldn't buy it, because they don't have the opportunity to. That's what I mean.
What do you
What
mean
I
by
think,
opportunity?
yeah.
Yeah,
What do you
during
mean? I was
lockdown, you
gonna say.
might not have the. What I mean is, when you advertise something in a big scale, it's so you win, so people buy
Oh,
it, right?
okay. No, I get what you're saying. So you're
But then
saying if you are
during
no
lockdown,
longer
you might
working, your income is not the same. So,
exactly. So
like,
people might say,
mhm.
okay, I see this is very nice, but I'm not going to buy this sweater because I don't need it right now. I'm in
But it can
my
also be
house.
the other way around, because there are people who just are filling their time by shopping online. This is why Amazon or other online
Yeah,
shops are gaining more money, because people are just willing to make more like useless decisions to fill in their time.
yeah,
Yeah,
true.
yeah. Becoming a shopaholic during the pandemic is a common theme, kinda. Uh, okay. So you guys agree that most people did profit from this, right?
No.
No, I don't think most people.
No,
No.
not most people.
Only
Let's.
online people that can make money online, because basically
Yeah.
people just spend a lot more
If
time
you really
online.
look
That's
at it,
basically the gist of it.
most people, most companies that are selling stuff also sell things online.
No.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but
But if
Let's
you look
talk
at
about
local
Larger companies.
businesses, it's something different.
Larger
If you look at
companies.
local businesses,
yeah, large
But
companies. I agree. Local businesses had the biggest hits, but
Yeah, of
okay,
course.
they did have the biggest hits. But can you tell me what the governments? Because I heard something that the governments did in order to like try to
What, a
stop that from happening.
stimulus check?
spend the
They
money.
what's it called? Yeah.
The stimulus check.
Yeah, the stimulus check, right? Do you think that really helped kind of save them, or was it
Wasn't
like
wasn't
some
that
sort
only in
of
Germany?
It didn't help
no?
it didn't.
Stimulus was
No,
everywhere.
yeah,
Most countries
a lot
had
of countries
stimulus.
had it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't help the businesses. That helps the workers. It's
Mm-hmm.
just so that the workers have some kind of income, because a lot of the people just didn't have any income,
Yeah.
or got a smaller monthly income than they would
Mm-hmm.
normally. It's like a certain percentage of their normal income that they would get, but it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
apply to everybody. So for example, I had a job, but I was a mini jobber, right? Since I go to school, I only work on the weekends. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, I wasn't fired, but essentially I just didn't work. And so I didn't get money,
You
right?
were kind of let go of.
But for
Oh,
example,
Alex is back. Mm-hmm.
I'm
for
back.
example, my brother, we work at the same place. My brother, for example,
Okay.
he he works full time because he finished school last year. And so he
Mm-hmm.
gets a percentage of what he would normally get working, I think
Mm-hmm.
48 hours is like
Okay.
so basically if he had a full month, he gets what he would normally get, but a percentage of that. And he doesn't have to
Okay.
work, right? So some people still got something, but it wasn't. It's not enough for people that still have to pay rent
To
and all
save
that stuff.
them,
You know.
really. To
So
make
to
up for
save
what they've
them,
lost.
they made the stimulus check. But for a lot of people, even the stimulus check isn't really enough for like their monthly expenses. But
It's a percentage of what they were
but it's
making. I get it. I
yeah.
get it. Oh, okay. Let me catch up Alex on this. Alex, so we are discussing the pandemic, how most online websites like Amazon and like big companies did not lose much. They actually the opposite. They kind of profited from this. And then we are also talking about how local companies
Couldn't
are
hear you there, buddy. You were cut off.
Was I cut off? Can you hear me?
Yes. How most
Okay.
what? And then it stopped.
We talked about how most online websites like Amazon and like big companies like online companies, let's say like eBay, Amazon, they didn't lose much. They actually the opposite, they profited. And we're talking about how local businesses are losing, like they're losing most of their businesses, and how governments are attempting stimulus checks to like help with the situation. So what do you like? This is what I was asking. Do you think what the government's doing, like small stimuluses, helping with the small businesses, like local businesses, or is it just useless? Nico said it does. It's only a percentage of what they made, so not really. It's a
Well,
small
I'm not
help,
sure. I'm
but
not sure what the stimulus check was, but I'm saying like some companies still paid their employees a percentage, right? Regardless of the
for
stimulus check.
Germany, I heard
But I heard
each
the
company
stimulus check
was
in the States was
15%.
like 2,000 for everybody. I'm
For
I'm not sure if it was
America, I
2,000 for
heard yeah,
everybody
it's
or if it
around
was a
2,000.
percentage. That's what I
Yeah.
don't know.
Okay. So what do you think about that, Alex?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I would say that um, I'm Jorge, but I'm going to speak in the name.
That's tough.
Amir,
I would.
can you ask me the question again?
Oh,
Oh, dude. Okay, most companies profited, right? But most
Yeah,
people are
just say
also
what the
like
question is. Just say what the question
okay,
is. No,
local
yeah,
businesses are losing their crap, right?
yeah.
Okay. The government is giving them money to like small like
Yeah, but
stimulus
the
checks
question
to
is
help with
if
that.
I think that is right. Is that the question?
Yeah. Do you think it's helping or is it completely useless?
Listen, I think it depends on the business, on what business it is. I think there's some business for failure at this point that are not going to uh, recuperate. And I think wasting our government checks on that is useless, especially because after some time, when this whole pandemic is over, this is going to come back and bite us in the ass. Like the government is not going to have that much. We have to, as citizens, we're going to have to eventually, like our children are going to, or like us in a couple of years, are going to have to pay so much for taxes because of the government checks that they're handing out right now. At the same time, I also think it's very unfair to just leave businesses or people, business owners,
yeah.
like alone, like with no help from the government because of the pandemic, because they can't like have make any profit. So I think it's like it's a argument that you can't really say whether it's good or not. I think it depends case by case. You can't really generalize it. You know what I'm saying.
I kind of would generalize if you are self-employed, like in a business, that you have to face the public. You need to have visitors to your store or something like that. I would say it's really useful because then if you don't have that income, you cannot live.
Okay.
But Jorge, do you support free market?
What?
Do
I don't
you
know.
prefer
I
free
don't get
market
what you're
or a
asking.
government-based like
Free
market?
market in terms of being self-employed and having your own business, whereas
Well, no,
what
after
No,
was the
free
other thing
no.
you
market is
said?
in like government doesn't intervene and like eventually you
Oh,
wouldn't have to pay
okay.
taxes and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the
I'm
money
I'm
that you make is
I'm
the money
I don't
that you
know.
make.
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if if you are self-employed and you win money and you normally pay taxes on that money, right? People,
Mm-hmm.
even self-employed people, pay money on the pay taxes on the money they win.
Uh-huh.
And if they cannot win money because they are in lockdown, like strict lockdown as we were talking before, and they cannot win money, I guess no. I think it's almost like you have to give them help, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a necessity. That's what I mean. What I meant mostly in when we were at like a hard lockdown, like really restrict lockdown. Now I don't know. Well, I don't know. Before I think it was a necessity.
Okay.
I don't know.
Kiana is really quiet this time.
But
Kiana, what do you think about this?
imagine you. I'm sorry, Amir. I'm
No, no,
trying.
no, no.
I'm
Go on.
listening.
But,
I'm just listening. Go on.
imagine, Alex, that you have I don't know. Imagine you have a. Imagine you're a trainer, right?
Mm.
And you train in a club, people,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and people, because their own jobs are not winning money during lockdown. If they don't want to do, I guess they don't want to do online things, you know. And they say, okay, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to train with you. Or maybe you were having like some training that you cannot do during lockdown.
Yeah.
What does the trainer, the owner of the club, do? He still has
Okay,
to pay the club.
I
He
understand what
still
you are
has to pay
saying.
his house, and he still needs to eat. So
I
obviously
understand
you
what you're
have to give
saying,
him
Jorge.
money, you know.
I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
disagreeing with you, but I'm also
Yeah,
Exactly.
saying
yeah,
that
I know. You
you have
said
to
that there's
consider
2
the
points.
fact that you have to consider the fact that this is something that the government can't be expected to pay everybody's. That's why you're supposed to save. That's why you're supposed to have insurance. That's why you're supposed to have take care of your money in case things happen. You know what I'm saying? You can't be living paycheck to paycheck. The government can't.
Yeah, but
You can't
imagine a
expect
Yeah,
the
like
but
government. Can I just
24-year-old
finish?
but
You
person.
can't expect the government to help out everybody equally because
no,
at the
of
end of
course
the
Well,
it's
day,
yeah,
not.
then it
who
should be semi-lockdown because a 24-year-old who's living alone cannot have that much savings. So, what should they do?
a 24 living alone also doesn't have that many things that he
Yes, they do. They have to pay a house and they have to pay food.
Well,
And if
they
they don't
have
You
have the
you
rent. They
money,
probably
have
at 24, if you're
to
leaving
eat.
you
living
should
on your
start
own.
saving before you buy a house is all I'm saying.
I'm not saying
Yeah, but to
That
be
is
you
fair,
have to
if
rent
you
a
are paying
house.
No, they
mortgages
have a
You
and
might
mortgage.
not be
Even
buying
have
insurance,
a
a
house, they
rent,
have to
No,
pay
guys,
rent.
guys.
not even buying a house, a rent.
Yeah, but Jorge, these are the circumstances you can't expect to have the same lifestyle that you had before. You're gonna have to
No,
adapt. If you're a person that's struggling, obviously if
yeah,
you're
but you
24,
have to
it's not
live.
gonna cost you that much to adapt because you're still young. You're still on your, you know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying? You
but
just
you
have
need
to adapt.
money.
That's the,
tough
huh?
No,
words.
look,
You need money
what
to pay your rent, and you need money to eat, man.
Man,
yeah, but
maybe
what I
start
want to say
sharing
is
rent
that
with somebody else. I don't know, man.
yeah, but
In
hold on. Like
lockdown, when you
the
could not
government,
see other
Jorge,
people.
chill. The government can give everybody the same amount. They can,
They
but
can't.
they
No, I
can.
know that.
But the
I'm,
thing
I'm
is,
not.
it's not. It doesn't make sense to because, like I said, not everybody needs the same amount.
Yeah, yeah, of
So
course.
to
That's why I
some,
No,
was
it won't
but
be
Nico,
enough,
the
and for
explain
amount
a,
others,
of
it will be
people.
more than enough.
situation, you know?
Which is why equality is generally not the best thing, whereas what equity is that it?
Equity,
I don't know
exactly.
what the fuck the word is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
equity.
Is better, right? So
Yeah.
some people will need more money than others because, for example,
Yeah,
if
of
you're a
course.
single mother and have 4 kids, you need more money no matter what your age is than somebody that's single and lives by themselves.
But it also
You know?
depends. We're generalizing so much. It depends where the single mother works at. If it's a private firm, if it's a
Yeah, of
government
course.
firm, if
We're
it's all
saying
of
all
that,
things
because
equal. We're saying all
you
things
also get
equal. If they were
money
to
as
live in
long
the
as you're not
exact same
fired. You
house,
also get subsidies from your
Of
job.
course, of course.
yeah,
All
but
things considered.
all things being equal, if the single person and the mom were to make the same amount and were to live in the same house and pay the same amount of rent, and let's say eat the same amount of food, then the mom still needs more money because she has to feed 3 or however many children I said she had. Whereas
Yeah,
the single
because her
person doesn't.
earnings
That's
will
the
be
point that I'm
divided by
making.
5,
And
whereas
as
that
Alex
dude
said,
will
there's
be all
people
for himself.
who will need it because there's people who have saves and stuff, but there's people that don't because unfortunately they might have not been able to save money. Not everybody's able to save money.
Plus, it's also kind of unfair to
Yeah. Of course, I
make
don't think
to make somebody
Elon
that has
Musk
just because they've
they should
saved
give
more
Elon
money.
Musk money, but they should. But I think
Yeah, but like I'm
there's
saying, it's
people
kind
that
of
need it.
unfair to someone that saved money to say, "Oh, you have saved money.
Yeah,
Now
I
you
know.
need to spend that saved
That's
money. We're not
Exactly. You know
giving
what
you
I'm
as
saying?
that's
much
also
as we're
true.
giving them." So
That's also
you
Okay,
should
true.
we
give
talked
people
about
money
But
this.
based on their
Wait, hold up.
situation, not based on their savings.
Wait, we
Yeah,
talked about
that's
this. We
true
said it
also.
affects everyone differently, right?
Hmm.
What can we do? Like, what is a solution for this? Like, we talked about
I
the
mean,
cause, how it's affecting people. What, like, okay, you're saying someone who is a 24-year-old just working like on his own, he has mortgages to pay, like his insurance, all that, and he needs money to eat. Like, what can the government do? Like, what can the like not do? What can the government provide people with to give them a
Money,
chance to?
I think
money,
money, rent.
money.
you can't say a 24-year-old because that's complete. Like,
Okay,
I think
Why?
no.
doesn't
Just
really
an
Listen,
matter.
example.
listen to what I'm saying. I think
Of
the
course, it doesn't say
government has to
24 years.
take into the consideration if this 24-year-old has people depending on him, like children or a sick father or something like that. Then
Yeah, of course.
that's where you subsidize him with more than a 24-year-old that's living
That's what
on
I'm
his
saying.
Of
own.
course,
No,
that's
that's
what we're saying.
that's exactly what I'm saying.
So you can't
He's just
say
he's just
you
saying
have
a
to say
24 year
someone
old in
that has
general.
like responsibilities and has other people depending on
Yeah,
him.
that's what I just said
Yeah,
earlier.
no, I totally
No,
agree.
but
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
What can
Amir
the
isn't
government do
but
to?
I
isn't
also don't
debating that.
think you should not give money to somebody because you adapt to the situation and start working on other type of stuff. You
Yeah, I think
at least you need
everybody
money
should
to
get
live.
money. I think everybody
Not
should get
everybody.
money
Maybe if you don't need it,
unless you are so rich that you don't need it, or
but
so well off.
but for example,
A
like
majority of the population should get money.
employees from private business, like employee people that works for Sarah, for example, the
Hmm.
the shop,
Hmm.
the workers there. If
Hmm.
not Sarah, because Sarah is super. Maybe like I don't.
No,
Let me
no,
think
that them
something.
too. They should get money.
For Sarah, imagine. But this was not the case for the Sarah guy. But imagine a business like that says, "Yo, I
Hace the
can.
podcast,
I'm not.
Samboro.
People is not buying clothes from me right now, so I don't have money to pay my employees.
Yeah,
He
they
might
fire them.
need help. Yeah, they fire them, and what do you do with the employees?
Exactly. That's why the government needs to give you a
So
stimulus check.
So they either give money to the Sarah guy so he doesn't fire anybody, or they give money to the people they fire. But it's one of the two.
Oh, you mean
And the Sarah guy still pays the salary they have, maybe a little bit less, but
Hmm.
still pays. You know what
I
I
don't
mean?
think that's the way to go necessarily, because so much can like there's so many ways of the Zara guy to like the business owner is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, but yeah.
There's so many ways that the business owner can just keep the money and not give it to the like people are greedy, man. I think you should
Yeah, but
help the employees themselves.
I mentioned but I mentioned the Sarah guy because he's one of the persons who said I'm not going to fire any. No, I'm not going to fire a single person of the. He's from Spain. That's why I know it because it was like a big thing in Spain for a while. I'm not going to fire a single person from my business. He had the money for it, and so he didn't. But there was a moment when he asked for more money, and that's the greedy part. If he didn't need it, but maybe he needed. What if you need it? Maybe Sarah is not a good example. Maybe it should be maybe a smaller business.
The thing is, like Alex said, it made a good point, saying like, "Oh, how do we ensure that if we give it to the owner, he actually pays the people?" But like, that's always the case. Even when they're working, how do you ensure that he pays the
But
employee?
you kinda can
There
ensure.
are ways to ensure that, and so there are ways to
The-
ensure that you pay them when they're not
if,
working. So it's
if
not
they
really.
fire the employee, the employee will tell to the government, "You, Sarah just fired me. I don't have money. I have to do
Yeah,
something."
but why
Government
why
who
why
pays
why would
money
you go
to.
that route and not just subsidize employees
Because it's
individually?
easier for the government. It's easier for the
Man,
government.
but like
Well,
it's
look,
not it's
I'm
not
pretty
there's
sure.
like so many
I'm
other
pretty
things
sure.
can go wrong instead of just giving the money to the people directly.
Listen, I'm pretty sure
Okay,
there is a law
but then you do think
that
that they should give money to the people directly or not? That's
Okay,
that was the
Yeah,
but
point of the
imagine this.
question.
Imagine this. In Berlin,
I
there's
thought
what,
you I
3
thought
million
you were
plus people.
you kind of doubted it.
In Berlin, there's 3 million plus people. Let's say 2.5 of those are working force that would get money from the government. But let's say they work for a total of 20,000 companies. Let's just say it's definitely more than that. But let's just say it's so much easier for the government to just give money to 20,000 companies to then pay the people as they normally would than to pay 2.5 million people individually. That's a huge difference. Even if it's 200,000 companies, that's a huge difference. It's so much simpler.
you do so.
And that's why that would be one argument for it. I don't know the logistics behind paying everybody individually or paying the companies, but I would imagine that it's significantly
It's the
easier.
papes.
Bro, who you asking for pay?
And then talking about like changing a little bit, people that are like self-employees and stuff. Like for example, here there's a lot of people that live from doing caterings and stuff, right? Like I
Mhm.
know some people that for caterings in not the weddings, but yeah, in weddings or like a party or something like that.
Yeah, catering. Yeah.
And you normally win like a good amount of money. You can win a good amount of money if you do a good amount of caterings each month, right? But
Yeah.
you're self-employed. Maybe you have a business and you call it, but you're working yourself, and maybe you're
Yeah, listen,
one
listen.
partner,
That's
right?
exactly what I
You
was
don't
trying to say.
in Europe. If you in during lockdown, you're not going to make any catering at all
You get
at all.
no money at all
So
because it's a lockdown and you're
you're not
legally not
money at
allowed
all.
to.
And maybe you
Yeah,
have some
that's what I'm
savings,
saying.
but you
What
will
can
need money because you don't want to, as Nico said
listen,
before,
listen,
waste your
listen to me for a
savings. And
second.
maybe you don't have one hundred
I
thousand
agree
dollars in
with what you're
savings. Maybe you
saying,
have
and
five thousand dollars euros.
what I initially said is what could be a solution. Like you guys talked about all the causes. I'm saying, okay, we have all these causes. What are some possible solutions for it? Because
I mean,
okay,
Yeah,
I mean,
you said money
government
is one of them.
giving money.
Wait, let me talk. You said money is one of them. And then we got to the problem where, okay, if the money is given, what if the CEO or whatever, the manager, doesn't give the money to the workers? What
then he should
what
be
is a
fired.
possible like fundraising solution that we could do in order to
Fundraising?
ensure
But what?
no
Why
no
would you
no I'm
fundraise
saying
if you don't have money in that moment?
How
no
are
no
you
no
gonna
no
fundraise for a
sorry my bad
country?
my bad listen, what is a possible way we could raise money, like the government could raise money, or could like give people a opportunity to make money? That's what I'm saying. Like in this lockdown. Because
They
we said
could
all the
do something that
causes.
has to do with like online skills, but the thing is
Not everybody
that
can.
you're making people work. That means you're making people work a job that they're not skilled in or haven't done,
I don't
you know?
think when it comes to making money, people mind working for it, you know? Okay, free money is
No,
Of course
obviously
people mind.
Nico, I'm sorry,
but
but you have to adapt. You can't just expect to do the same things that you. If you want more money, you have to do something
It's not
new.
about
If
more
something,
money. It's about getting enough money to survive because you're not getting any
yeah, but
because
you're
you don't
getting
have a
subsidies
job or you can't
regardless.
work. No, that's the thing.
no.
Are you getting
Imagine
subsidies? We're
no.
talking about other
Are you
options
getting?
if you're
If we
not
are
getting
getting,
subsidies.
then why? If
If
you are
it's not a
getting, then
stimulus package, stimulus check, what else could you get? We're talking about other options.
if you but that's the
This
thing.
isn't about
Why?
this isn't about like changing
I
your
don't think
yeah,
career path.
I'm
anybody
saying
during
besides
lockdown
besides a
Yeah,
getting
stimulus, what are the other
getting
options?
money
Because
from
okay,
the
stimulus
government.
is already out there. They're doing it. What is the other option that okay
the
is
thing is, to me,
plausible?
I
It's
don't know. I don't know if there are other options because
I
But
don't know
what
the
do you
anymore.
whole
mean the
thing,
stimulus?
the
Like
whole
getting
thing
money
that
from
they're
the government?
lacking, the whole
sorry.
thing that they're lacking by
Let
like the whole thing that they're missing is money,
Mm-hmm.
is their salary. that is the problem, you know?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
to me, I don't know what else you could do apart from give them money that would solve them not getting money, you know?
I also can't think of any of
I think that's up to
other
the
option
individual
or solution
themselves.
except
Same,
money.
I agree.
What do you mean up to the individual themselves?
I
Up to the
think
individual to
what
decide
you're
what?
saying is right. It's besides like the government giving them money, it's up to you yourself to find another area
Yeah.
Okay.
or another way to
Okay.
get to
But
fund any
we
type
do
of.
agree
But
that
that's with the money that
in
you
those
have.
cases, government kind of has to give you money.
Yeah. We all agree on that. It's on
No.
the
Hold on,
government
Alex.
to
What do you mean? What do you mean? To find what?
You're saying
Okay, Alex.
what the question is, besides getting subsidies from the government, what other
Mhm.
ways can the government ensure that the people get money? There are no other ways, man. You if you want, as an individual, if you want money besides getting the subsidies that you're already getting, it's up to you to find another way, like
Alex,
start an online job or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
sure.
We
Yeah.
all
He's
agree on
But
that.
completely right. Like,
if
you
you're
gotta
getting
find
if you're
other
getting the subsidies,
alternatives for
maybe you
your
don't
own.
need more money. You know?
Mhm.
No. But
No,
he's not.
because the
He's not saying
subsidies
you need it or
are
not. He's just saying
significantly lower
if
than what you were
he's
getting
just saying
before.
other than subsidies, like there are still some jobs that you can do, some
But-
ways to get
Yeah,
money.
it's
Exactly.
up
You
to
know,
the individual.
you
Yeah,
could, you
true,
could
true.
learn.
But I do
You could
think that
learn
that's
They
some
a
graphic
can, for
design in your free time and hop on the Fiverr.
postpone people's
You know,
loan repayments. That could be a way
mm,
for
the
working for most people, I guess.
that's good. And
Yeah,
I don't mean to
No.
like shit on
payments
your
could
idea or
be.
anything, but that's just
but
reduce
let me say a thing.
expenses. But
Let
that
me say a thing
doesn't
about the
generate.
like in general. I think the subsidies should be at least enough for you to survive. You know?
Yeah,
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
yeah.
at
You're not supposed to like get.
I think everyone agrees
I'll
with
say
that,
in
Jorge.
quotations
yeah,
more
yeah.
rich
So
than
if
by
so
not working. You're
no,
not supposed
but
to make more.
talking
But
from there, if you are already surviving thanks to the subsidies, if you want more money, then it's your own. You look
Wait.
at your own.
On that note,
Because
I just got an idea. What if this is the government's way to destroy poor people, like not giving them enough, so they start dying? Do you think that's a possibility?
That's a
Um,
US
poor.
yeah,
possibility.
I
I'm
think
kidding. I'm
that's
Trump's
kidding. This is a
true.
solution.
joke.
Trump's
Listen,
solution.
it's all jokes. I'm kidding.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's a
Since
valid theory, though.
That's
I think.
that's also
imagine.
like
I think
It
there's
works for America.
gentrification
Okay.
is the same thing, man.
Guys. This is an interesting topic, but we have one more thing to hit, and then like one more subtopic to hit, and then we can move. We can hopefully join next week for our next topic. Okay, we talked about the companies that are profiting, the companies that are losing, how people are coping, like how people are, like how governments should be helping people, or how people can help themselves. There is one last topic about the pandemic. How do you think people are coping with this whole situation? Like we talked about what's going on, everything that's happening, and we are currently in it. So, how are you coping with it? Like, how do you think people around you are coping with it?
like mentally stability type of thing.
Yeah, mentally, because we talked about it financially. We talked about it in terms of like physicality, like how you're locked down or like you're not allowed to leave your house, or like the guidelines, all that. Like mentally, how do you think people are dealing with it mentally?
Not good.
I think like especially people that are
depends on the
social
person too.
that are like being deprived of being able to be social
Mm-hmm.
are like I feel like there's probably I don't know if there's numbers behind it, but probably more and more people like feeling like I don't know anxiety or like depression
Oh,
or
also people
I
kind of
are
don't
like
making
think
money out
people
claustrophobia
of
are.
this.
being at home the entire time.
Yeah, I don't
Wait.
actually think people are really actually coping with it. They're just like tolerating till everything's back to normal because
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
you could say that for Iran,
Yeah.
like obviously. Okay.
Uh,
Kimia, what were
also,
you saying?
therapists are gaining a lot of money out of this. They're making a lot of money out of this because people are taking so much online therapy because, like, why not? And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're making a lot of money from just sitting at home and talking to people and advising them. They don't even have to do any, like, go anywhere, just from
Yeah.
home or like a phone call. Yeah, they're also
Mhm.
making a lot of money.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's a very big, like it has to do a lot with generations. If we're talking about how, or like the age of the people, like if we're talking about how it affects them mentally, because I think for our, like people our generation, we are missing
Yeah.
a lot of like things that people 2 years older or 3 years older than us had. Like for example, we're not really going out to clubs. Like we're not
Yeah.
We're missing
celebrating
our
our
prom.
18th
We're
birthday
missing our prom.
parties. We're not
We're
like,
Our
which
seniors.
is supposed to be like big
Graduation.
things. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like gone for us.
Yeah,
So I feel
because
like
time doesn't wait for anyone. Yeah, absolutely. I
exactly.
get
I
that.
feel like
We're missing out on
for
a lot of
us,
Also,
things.
suicide rates have
Kimmy, are
increased
you
a
okay?
lot.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just really
My man's just
invested in like
Wow.
mental health,
Jesus.
but like
are you gonna
yeah,
kill yourself?
Yeah,
suicide
so
rate.
guess we're
Don't
changing
do
the
it.
topic. How to
Damn.
prevent suicide, I guess.
Um,
Suicide hotline. Sadodah. Sayımızdan Sadodah.
But seriously,
did we just start
there were
talking
months
Farsi?
where people
No.
are actually died more from suicide than like actual like the virus, you know.
Yeah.
I
Suicide
mean,
rates
it
are
depends on the
obviously
person. Some
increasing.
people can cope with it and some people cannot. So it really depends on
It's
the
not about
person.
that. Look,
Yeah, but he's
people
asking like
who
in a general sense, how do you think people
yeah,
are coping with it?
obviously,
That's the
yeah.
question, not
Yeah, yeah,
individuals.
obviously.
It
And I
comes down
think
to really it comes down to do you think it's good or bad? Like that's pretty
What's
much
good
all
or
I'm
bad?
looking for. Like
The virus
people's like
bad.
Are you saying the virus is good?
I'm saying in a mental state, people's mental state right now. It comes down to do you think people are in a good spot or in a bad spot? And from what I'm hearing, most of you are saying bad. So
Do I even
I mean,
gotta
it
answer
depends.
that? What do you mean?
I mean, it really
Kiana, you look
depends
like you're having
on
fun. Can you stop lying?
the individual.
I'm not. It's the opposite. No,
I
I'm not
cannot
having
listen
fun.
No,
to
I'm,
but
I'm gonna start crying right now. Oh my god.
we're actually
as usual.
generalizing it a lot. Like,
Yo, what was
but
that?
Whoa.
overall,
okay?
people are not happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
don't think
get
I
that.
don't think anyone's mental state is better than before what it was in Corona. I just think
I mean,
now
but
I don't
people
know.
have
I'm
more
happy.
time. I just think
I don't think
now
it. I
people
don't
have
think
more time.
everybody's mental state is worst either. You know, I think there's
Yeah,
some
yeah,
people
But
that
I think
were
obviously.
But
it
just
we
it
can
okay
all
with
has
it.
agree that it's not
actually
in a good spot, right?
mentally
You see,
helped
if we're
many
It
talking
people.
about
depends.
character development, then that's different. Yeah. Like so many people have had character development. I did. Like my mind is so much like I think differently about most of the things now. But about the mental state, no, everyone's like, okay, introverts, yes, like they're used. But as an outgoing person,
Wow.
no, I'm not having
Wow. So
fun at
you
all.
just said
I'm
introverts are
depressed.
okay with this. That's messed
No,
up.
no.
No, I
I
think
mean,
Wow.
look.
No, they're
I
not
think it really
okay with
depends.
it, but there's not like having such a hard time as other people.
Yeah, but
Kiana,
like
I
I'm an
have you on
extrovert,
record.
and
You can't take it back.
I'm
I heard
enjoying
what you said.
myself. I'm enjoying
Okay.
myself as an extrovert.
I'm
Like
enjoying myself.
to me, it
But
just is like it depends on if the person for themselves can find something and do something to make them feel productive. You know, if that's working out, if that's
or
learning
if
some kind of
I think
instrument
that
or something,
Kiana
as long
like
as they can
introvert.
occupy themselves and feel productive or feel like they're progressing or doing making some kind of like accomplishment, then they'll be fine with it. You know, as long as they're
Yeah.
not too deprived
Feeling a
of
little
other things, you know.
self-accomplished will make you feel better.
But
Absolutely, I
if you
agree with
feel
that.
like you have nothing to do, nothing to work for, I feel like that kind of like
Yeah. Life
leads
becomes
into like
pointless.
increased depression and stuff. You're like, oh, what's the
Absolutely.
point? I can't do any of the stuff that I want to do or
Mm-hmm.
like to do or whatever. And
But
if
you
you
Yeah.
just,
also take
you know,
into consideration that many people have just lost their motivation to do anything. Like,
yeah,
But
I'm
also
not
many people
specifically
gain their
like,
motivation.
yeah. But also like
No,
if
I
you
don't
think
think
about
they
like
did.
yeah,
death
that's what
in the
No,
family
I
and
don't think
stuff.
basically
anyone has gained their
generalized.
motivation. Oh, I'm
No,
staying
I'm
at
pretty
home.
sure. I
I'm
know
so
people.
motivated to
I
do
know.
everything.
No,
No,
you
I know
can gain
people
Well,
motivation
who.
with
well,
like certain
I
stuff
think there's people that
for
mind.
sure.
Imagine you're like a film writer maybe at home you have more time you gain motivation to start
exactly.
Yeah, but you're
writing
never
the
able
films
to
you want
make.
and
You're
stuff.
never able to make the movie though.
Yeah,
Once
Yes, you will.
yes, you
maybe the
can. If it's like an
motivation is
animation,
once we
doesn't have to be with
once
real
we
people.
finish, or
If
maybe
it's an
the
animation, you
Go
can
into the
once
jungle.
High School DxD.
one
What? Okay.
Forest.
uh,
maybe your motivation is
oh,
once this is over, I'm going to be able to do all this stuff, you know?
yeah.
Okay, guys.
If you
Last
learn
points. We're gonna
any
wrap it up
No,
skill,
but
here.
mostly I
if you
don't think
learn if you learn like
for the
programming
general
or something,
population it was, I don't think it was either or a big change or for worse.
Okay.
It's probably one of those.
Absolutely. Mhm.
But I don't think for the
Yeah.
general
Yeah. I
population
agree.
it was for good, you know?
Mhm. I agree.
okay.
Okay,
I
Do you
guys.
want to say?
We're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. This is my fourth session.
We're
And
participating in the podcast.
you're gonna have us back
Listen.
next week, hopefully with the same people or even more people. Once again, have a good time. Stay safe. Bye bye.
Bye bye.